burnout doesn't just make you tired. It actually changes how you show up and lead. So when you're emotionally exhausted and constantly under pressure, you're going to make reactive decisions instead of the strategic decisions that you need to be making in your business. And you tend to avoid those hard conversations and you say yes a lot when you really should be saying no. And what happens is, as a business owner, you lead from urgency and fear and survival mode instead of leading with clarity and confidence. And the hardest part is most high performing business owners just don't even realize that all of this is happening because we're still functioning, we're still producing, we're still carrying the weight of the business. But internally, what's happening is we're losing our peace and our perspective and energy. And what happens over time is we lose trust in ourselves. So if this resonates with you, you are not alone. And trust us, you are not failing as a leader because this is something that we hear all the time. And likely you have just spent years of being the one that's responsible for solving all the problems, protecting your business, carrying all the pressure. And most likely you're putting everyone else's needs ahead of your own. And that level of responsibility really compounds over time, especially when the business is depending on you for too much. So eventually what happens is your nervous system just stays in that go mode, hustle culture, and you stop making decisions from vision and alignment. You're making decisions from exhaustion and survival. And most business owners just normalize this because everyone else around us is calling that success. So, Dr. Sabrina, you have a case study to share.
Yes, I have actually a couple of real life examples that happened in the last couple of weeks I want to bring in here. So first off, when we make these fear-based decisions quickly on the fly, we end up paying a lot of dumb tax in all kinds of ways in our business because we're not thinking strategically. And this ability to think strategically when we're burnt out is such a cost to us when we lose that ability to think strategically. I did a webinar yesterday on how to make your time worth $10,000 an hour for a specific group of professionals. And there were probably over 100 people on this webinar, and we did a poll and we asked where the majority of their time is going. And 54% of time was going to emails and reactive decision making, jumping in and solving problems. Only 6% of time was going to strategic decision making
Wow.
and strategic leadership. So this is an enormous problem, and there's a huge cost because it's the opportunity cost of what are we missing in our business, but also what dumb tax are we paying? What is it costing us to make these mistakes in our decisions when we're doing all this reactive decision making? So we had a new client come on board recently, and he's running an IT and digital marketing company. He's got a solid team. The revenue's growing. So on on paper, this business looks successful. Clients are happy, but internally, this business owner is exhausted. And what he was describing is getting pulled in to everyone else's work because clients didn't want to wait and they wanted to serve their clients. And he knows, like, the reason he's reaching out to us is he knows he needs to be focused on strategic growth and leadership. But instead, he's rescuing the team all day long. And at one point, his second in command actually sent him home in the workday because he was so burned out and he was just shutting down. And what struck me most about this is he wasn't making any bad decisions because of lacking intelligence or capability. He was making fear-based decisions because his nervous system was overloaded. So that's really what we need to dive into here, Melissa, is, okay, this is the state of what entrepreneurs are experiencing. 9 out of 10 are burning out. So let's really get to what are we going to do about it? Because the solution isn't just taking time off.
Right. It's rebuilding your relationship with yourself as a leader. Because when the relationship with yourself is healthy, then you begin to make decisions from clarity instead of fear, and you trust yourself more. You stop over functioning for everyone else. So we see this all the time. You begin to create boundaries without guilt. You will lead proactively instead of reactive. And this is going to change everything in your business, because a sustainably profitable business requires a sustainably supported business owner.
Yes. And so I want to talk about another client that we've just recently brought in who's a little bit further along in our Better Business, Better Life program. And he came into the program exhausted and overwhelmed too. And every week was feeling like a sprint. And he was carrying the mental load for his entire company. Within 30 days of being in our Better Business, Better Life program, you had helped him free up 10 hours a week. And it's not because he or his team suddenly became more productive, so they got things done faster. It was because he stopped making fear-based decisions. And when he stopped making fear-based decisions, his team stopped making the fear-based decisions. Mm-hmm. And he was starting to see, and this is so characteristic of so many clients within the first 3 months of working with us in the Better Business, Better Life program, they recognize they don't have to say yes to everything. Because right when you're growing your business, you feel like you need to say yes to every opportunity that comes your way. And with us, they're learning to set boundaries. So he was learning how to set boundaries, how to pick and choose the clients that he was working with so that he was bringing in better and better clients for his team to work with, which was making everything run smoother, like very quickly. And then we moved him to defining roles and creating some structure. And so he stopped having to rescue the team because he now had A players who knew what to do, what was expected. Like they knew their one result that delivered around the sweet spot and how that drove profitability. We call those decision-making parameters. And when every team member has those decision-making parameters, they don't need you to rescue them because they know what to do. And so he was able to really start identifying his $10,000 an hour activity and then get his team and individual team members recognizing their $10,000 an hour activity. And that's where better decisions followed, less dumb tax being paid. Obviously, when less dumb tax is being paid, profit improves. The team is stepping up. And that's where things like we really see within like first 6 months with working with us, business owners start falling back in love again with their business because you have more of a self-managing team. You have that space to think strategically, and you have a business that's supporting your life.
Yeah.
So, Melissa, we've been talking about the impact of our businesses when they take over their lives and how that affects our relationships. And because today's episode is about the fear-based decisions that we make when we're in burnout, I really want you to share what you have been contemplating and discovering for yourself as it relates to having better relationships.
Yeah. So we talk about self-care a lot. We've talked about that on the podcast a lot. And also how our business affects our relationships. And what I'm realizing is some of us as business owners take care of ourselves. Maybe we go to the gym, get a massage, right? We're doing small things, but we're not thinking strategically about it. So we should be thinking about our lives as strategically as we think about our business. And you have said something so many times that has resonated with me, but I wasn't quite sure how to implement it fully. And now I think I've got it. So on the last episode, and you've been talking about this for a couple of years now, but you shared with your late husband, Ned, just one powerful question. And that was, if our relationship was at a 10, what would we be experiencing? And that was life-changing for you both. And I've been contemplating, like, how can I think more strategically about myself and the relationship with myself? Because if I don't have that intact, then how could I expect the business to function at its best? So the powerful question that I've been asking myself every single day is, if the relationship with myself were at a 10, what am I experiencing? And oh man, that just blew my mind. I'm the dream manager. This is what I do. Dreaming has always come very naturally to me, but I've had some life changes lately, and it's not as easy to think about the self care and being intentional and strategic. So that has really opened up my mind tremendously. So now, just like I'm creating this action plan for our clients as they come into our Better Business, Better Life program. And we do that for your business and your life, right? Because we make business goals and we also make personal goals. So I'm starting to do that, Dr. Sabrina, for myself and my life, like just life. Like, what are the things that I want to experience and do? And those are the drivers for me to work less and to be more profitable in the business.
So I think this is such a profound, powerful question because as I think about the juxtaposition between love and fear, when we make decisions out of fear and we operate out of fear, everything is small, it's constricted. When we operate out of love and abundance, obviously things are more expansive. And so when we're burning out, we're in this default of fear-based decision making. And so we've got to shift that. And as we bring clients into the Better Business, Better Life program, we can do all kinds of things to help them improve their business. But if we don't help them work on themselves first, that is
Yeah.
superficial change because they're going to fall back into old patterns that will undermine all the good stuff going on in the business. And so when we start saying, what am I doing when I love myself? And as I lost Ned and his love, and he was, I mean, tremendous in terms of how he treated me and our family and just making sure we were taken care of. As I went through the grief process, one of the things I became aware of is I have to now love myself the way Ned used to love me.
Mm.
And that really shifted me out of the myopic, fear-based decision that sneaks in with grief too. And looking at how am I going to take care of myself and what do I need to nurture myself while I'm carrying a very significant mental load. And that's very much like business owners carrying a huge mental load. So while I was not carrying a mental load with Tap the Potential, thank goodness, because I did the work on Tap the Potential and got things in place and it's run well. I've had a lot of load in my personal life that I've had to carry. And so continuing to check in and say, what do I need? And how can I, if I, and to take your question even deeper, Melissa, to think about if I was a 5-year-old, if it's 5-year-old me and I'm
Mm.
responsible for her care, what does she need?
Oh,
Right? So if it's 5-year-old you, Melissa, what do you need?
okay. That's so beautiful. And the other question that I've been asking myself is, if I took care of myself like I did everyone else, what would I
Yes.
be doing? I mean, imagine what we do for our teams. If you're a leadership team member tuning in, like, what are you doing for your coworkers? And think about for your families, all of the relationships. If I even did a quarter of, showed up for myself a quarter of the way that I show up for other people, it's just unimaginable what life maybe look like. But instead, as business owners, we're just taught like success is that hustle, and we're working 10, 12, 16 hours a day. I know I did it for many, many years. And we're making sure our team members get paid before we do. Like, we're doing all of the things for everyone else, and we're not taking care of ourselves first.
Yeah.
But really, we need to turn the table on this and let go of that hustle culture and really start to look at, how do we truly get out of survival mode and stop making fear-based decisions. And the key is to connect with yourself first.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so when we connect with ourselves first, that really allows everything else to flow better in the business and we start experiencing that our work is supporting our life. And so one of the things that we keep coming back to are the results that we deliver for our clients because people want numbers. And so we've really, over the years, tried to quantify what does a better life look like? And the best metric that we've been able to come up with to quantify that is the amount of time off that's increasing. So when you're able to fully unplug and not think about the business, that's the mental space, the mental time off. And our clients are experiencing over a 700% increase in time off in their first year with us. So that is getting back 7 times your time off that you're currently taking now and your ability to unplug. And so when we translate that into, well, what does that mean for your relationship with yourself? Well, duh, there's a lot more space to ask yourself, like, what do I need? And what would help me feel loved and cared about and supported right now? And there's also space to connect with our family members and find out what do they need? What's on their mind? What are they worried about? What are they struggling with? What's stressing them out? And how can we support? But if we don't have the space to put our own oxygen mask on first,
Yeah.
we can't show up and be fully present and effective for them. So even if we think we're showing up and being present because we're taking care of everybody else, if we've neglected ourselves, we're not fully showing them how they could be taken care of by us.
Yeah.
So there's the time off. There's also the increase in profit in the business. So our clients in the first year with us are experiencing a 215% increase in profit. Let's break that down in terms of what that does to fear and burnout. When you have more profit in the business, you don't have sleepless nights worrying about payroll anymore. You're not scrambling to deal with cash flow issues. So all that stress, and there's so much mental load that business owners carry around cash flow, all of that goes away. But then our clients are also experiencing a 55% increase in owner's pay in the first year with us. So there's more money coming into the household, more money to take your kids to go get coffee and treats after school, more money to take your kids on a vacation or take your wife or your husband somewhere on an unexpected weekend getaway, more money to save for your kids' college, to put in your retirement account, to purchase life insurance. You need life insurance. Firsthand life testimonial to that. You need these things. And so that is what we are doing at Tap the Potential to make a better life for business owners. It's not just a better business, but it really is about creating a better life. So I want to invite you listening, if you're hearing this and you're thinking, oh my gosh, this is so me, I need this today. I want to invite you to take our Better Business, Better Life assessment. This tool is the only tool out there designed to assess your level of burnout as a business in relation to the health of your business. So when you take this assessment, it takes about 11 to 14 minutes is what we're seeing when we look at how long people are spending on it. When you invest that time with us, you are going to learn about your level of burnout, and you're going to learn about the areas of your business that you can strengthen that will have an immediate impact on reducing your burnout. So it's going to show you what to do right away, what's your $10,000 an hour activity, so that you start functioning better. And you're going to have the opportunity, if you would like an in-person debrief, Caitlin, our success team lead, will get on the phone with you and debrief your assessment and point you to exactly what to do and create an action plan with you for next steps. So to take this assessment, go to tapthepotential.com/assessment and do it as your first step to taking your life back from your business.
Such good conversation today. Dr. Sabrina, what is one gold nugget that you would love to leave with our listeners?
As you're heading into the weekend, fully unplug.
Mm,
Just fully unplug from your business and see what happens.
I love it. All right. Thank you for tuning in today. We will see you next week on the